Is Congress planning to take away SC, ST and OBC reservations as claimed by PM Narendra Modi and give it to Muslims? Is the blanket reservation for Muslims in Karnataka a pilot project before its pan-India implementation? In doing so, is the Indi Alliance paving the way for a second partition of India? What does the Constitution of India says about reservation based on religion? How communal reservation is psychologically linked to communal electorates that led to a painful partition of India? In this video, we'll explore all these vexing questions and try to find their answers. The controversial issue of giving reservation to Muslims by compromising the OBC quota has once again gained prominence in the thick of Lok Sabha elections. Dubbing Congress as the biggest enemy of OBCs, PM Narendra Modi accused it of snatching reservation from SC, STs and OBCs and gifting it to their vote bank. If there was any doubt left about the intent of the Congress and its allies, whether they aim to slice up OBC quota for their minority vote bank, RJD Chief Lalu Yadav's comment on the issue made it amply clear. Lalu Yadav said Muslims should get complete reservations. Despite the constitution not endorsing any reservation in jobs and education along religious lines, even National Commission for Backward Classes (NCBC) has criticized the move of Karnataka government for undermining the principle of social justice. NCBC underlined that socially and educationally backward communities cannot be treated at par with an entire religion. In this mad race of Muslim appeasement, Karnataka joins the states like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. While Kerala is giving 12% reservation to Muslims, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka are extending 4% each. Tamil Nadu provides 3.5% quota to appease the Muslim vote bank. Wondering why so many non-BJP governments are hell-bent on giving quotas to Muslims that are psychologically linked to separate electorates, which led to so many disasters and the dangerous history of partitions. Allow me to take you on a time travel to 1909 when the seed of communal reservation was first sowed. The British colonial masters awarded Muslims reserved seats in legislatures in 1909 on the argument that the former ruling minority had fallen behind the Hindu subject majority in accepting modern education. They were provided separate electorates and a 25% quota in civil services to reflect their 25% representation of the population. Do you see a striking resemblance between the century-old British ploy of divide and rule with the communal cards flashed by the contemporary champions of secular politics by Congress and regional parties like Left, DMK, RJD and TMC? Back then, these communal perks were meant to perpetuate British rule by winning over the support of Muslims who constituted 25% of the population in undivided India. It goes without saying that the allocation of separate electorates encouraged communal appeals to voters of the Muslim community, leading to the Pakistan resolution of 1940 and the eventual partition of India in 1947. Merely 13 days after independence, on August 28, 1947, the remaining members of the Muslim League who voted for the creation of Pakistan but strangely did not move there were back along with the Congress's Muslim members demanding reserved constituencies for Muslims. India's first Home Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel made a very scathing remark against those demanding religion-based reservation even after India's partition on religious lines. Conniving Congress leader Syed Naziruddin covertly threatened, saying, "Hindus are elder brothers and Muslims are younger brothers. If the elder brother obliges the demand of the younger brother, they would surely get love in return, and otherwise you would be devoid of our love." Reacting to this veiled threat, Sardar Patel said, "Your words are sugar-coated, but they are mixed with a potion of poison. I am ready to be devoid of your love. We have witnessed your love firsthand. Now you should change your tack, otherwise the elder brother may have to lay down his life to accommodate your demands." Patel added, just hollow assurances would not work. You need to change your mindset. You have already got what you wanted in form of Pakistan. It was not the people of Pakistan, but you were responsible for making Pakistan. You spearheaded the Pakistan movement. Now what you want, we know it well. We don't want another partition in this country. Those who wanted Pakistan, they have got it. And those of you still longing for Pakistan can go there and live with peace. Now you know the term go to Pakistan was not invented by the BJP or RSS. At present, the very mention of the phrase is enough to trigger a meltdown of the left liberals and closet jihadists who still harbor the dream of Ghazwa-e-Hind in their hearts. In this context, it would be worthwhile to recall Liaqat Ali's visit to India in April 1950 and Jawaharlal Nehru's succumbing to Liaqat's pressure to provide again a separate electorate and reservation for the Muslims in services in India. N.V. Gadgil narrates the incident in his autobiography, Government from Inside. Liaqat Ali came to Delhi in March 1950, had discussions with Nehru, and one fine morning at 10 o'clock, Nehru placed before the cabinet a draft of his statement with him. The final two paragraphs in the agreement accepted the principle of reservation for Muslims in proportion to their population in all services and representative bodies in the constituent states of India. Similar provisions were suggested for central government also. Each of us got a copy of the draft, but no one would open his mouth. I said these two paragraphs nullify the whole philosophy of Congress, and the country had already paid the price of division as a result of acceptance of separate electorates. You are asking to drink the same poison again. After a detailed discussion in the cabinet, the next day, whole provision of reservation was dropped. Eventually, the final document provided for a common electorate and supposedly temporary reserved seats in legislature, civil services, and education for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes only. The promise of benefits to the OBCs, however, remained vague. It was activated at the national level only when Prime Minister VP Singh's Janata Party government implemented the Mandal Commission report in 1990. The gin of Muslim reservation, which has been hibernating in the bottle of secularism for half a century, was uncorked in public in 1994 in the form of demand for Muslim reservation in civil services and education during assembly by-elections in 5 states. It happened so that the Congress's traditional vote bank, Muslims, ditched them for fledgling regional secular parties such as Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party, reducing it to a number 4 party in the 1993 UP Assembly elections that took place after the Babri demolition. On a losing streak since 1989 at the centre and the state elections, after opening the lock to the disputed Babri site and its eventual demolition in 1992, with the tacit support of the Congress leadership, Janata Dal MP Syed Shahabuddin, former AMU VC Syed Hamid, Muslim League leader Ibrahim Sulaiman Seth, and VP of AIMIM Maulana Muhammad Shafi Monish formed an association to ostensibly promote education and employment of Muslims. Next, they called a convention on reservation in New Delhi on October 9, 1994. Congress's Dalit face and the then Minister of Welfare Sita Ram Kesri stated the case for Muslim reservation before the convention on the grounds of economic, social and educational backwardness. Reacting to the development, BJP and RSS argued if Muslims or Christians want to be awarded reservations, they should reconvert to Hinduism, as reservation based on religion is not enshrined in the constitution. The demand for more and more rights and reservation for minorities has a telltale sign of post-partition Muslims walking in the footsteps of their pre-partition brethren going back to 1906. Let's take a look at the script of the dismemberment of India. The Muslim League was formed in 1906. In 1909, British government introduced elements of reservation in the Government of India Act. The 1909 reservation were inherently political reservations, reservation in political seats, as opposed to the current economic reservation in employment for state services. Next, the religious reservation got a shot in the arm in 1932 Roundtable Conference when British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald proposed the controversial communal award that envisaged giving separate electorate representation to Muslims, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans. Earlier, Indians were given limited access to the electoral process, with only the landed and high tax-paying citizens having the right to vote, making it an elitist affair, limiting the participation of the masses and undermining the basic principles of democracy. Despite this, only 20% of the adult population qualified as voters. Congress swept the 1937 elections. Though Muslim League managed to perform well in provinces of Assam, Bengal, Bombay and United Provinces UP and Madras, it failed to get a majority in any of the provinces. The provinces of Bengal and UP elected the maximum number of Muslim League members. The most shocking results came from Punjab, where the League managed to win only one seat. It was after the 1937 debacle, Muslim League harped on the demand for a separate Muslim nation state. One might wonder how come Muslim League, a near failure in 1937, became a pioneer of partition in 1946. In the run-up to 1946 provincial elections, the Muslim League went on a membership overdrive and transformed itself from an elitist organization to a mass movement among the Indian Muslims. Jinnah, who had just quit Congress to join the League, harped on Iqbal's rhetoric of Islamic unity and concept of a separate Islamic state in his speeches. The Muslim League's 1946 election campaign was extremely communal, where voting for the League was made a mandatory Islamic act. The League had no ambiguity over its poll plank, a separate Islamic state carved out of India. The Muslim League roped in Muslim community leaders, including Muslim communists, who would propagate the League propaganda to the last mile. Jinnah was suddenly elevated to the status of a demigod. In the 1946 Sunni conference at Varanasi, Jinnah was declared a custodian of the god. Fatwas were issued declaring any Muslim voting against the idea of Pakistan would be declared an infidel, underlining there won't be any namaz-e-janaza offered for such people and they would not be allowed burial in the graveyards. The toxic mix of Islamic fundamentalism with politics laid the grounds for the 1946 elections. The Muslim ulemas, community figures, students from Islamic seminaries and religious propaganda from mosques challenged the Muslims to come out and vote as believers and not as infidels. The Muslim League won 87% of the total Muslim seats in the elections, the biggest gains being in the province of Bengal, where it won 113 out of 119 seats. The provinces of Bombay and Madras gave a 100% win to the League. United Province and Bihar gave 82% and 85% Muslim seats to the League respectively. The idea of a separate Pakistan was wholeheartedly accepted by the Muslim electorate of India. The slow-building rhetoric demanding a separate electorate, then an Islamic state, eventually transformed into a mass movement leading to partition of India. The Muslim League may have lost the election of 1946 to the Congress, but it won the mandate for a separate Pakistan. As it happened in 1945, the Indian Muslims' contemporary and consistent demand for reservation on the basis of economic and social backwardness would not take much time to galvanize into a demand for communal reservation. Once that is achieved, it is needless to explain what happens next. In fact, even without a communal reservation, Muslims have been able to put a lock on certain seats by sheer strength of their numbers and can influence the electorate in as many as 101 seats across the country. Hindus have become minorities in 200 districts across 8 states in India thanks to the demographic changes caused by influx of illegal intruders from Bangladesh and Myanmar and rampant conversion by Christian missionaries across India. Under these circumstances, one shouldn't be surprised if the Muslims start demanding political reservation in proportion to their population next. Desperate to return to power at any cost, Congress, aka the Muslim League of Independent India, and other opposition parties might well accept their demand, even at the cost of paving the way for another partition of India. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and share our video with your friends and family.